Hello everybody! In the last few lessons, we've been going over using for loops and lists together with other commands to help us create and move objects in interesting ways. We recently went over the concept of using the index value inside a for loop with multipliers in order to output different lists of numbers. What we are going to do now is use the index values in order to do something which I consider to be very cool. We are going to use the index values along with multipliers to change the colors of objects. You can see in our viewport a very familiar example that we recently used to explain for loops. We have a blue bar which we copied and then used the index value of the for loop to move each copy of the bar along the x-axis. What we are going to do is use this index value in order to create custom colors for each individual copy of the bar. We'll do this with two examples. The first, we're going to make our bar go from a black color to gray and then end at white. With the second example, we'll make our bars go from a yellow to an orange to a purple color. Let's review how custom colors work a little bit before we continue. We can create custom colors using a 3-item square bracketed list. The values in each of these items stands for the amount of red, green, or blue in the custom color, and the list is in that order of colors. The values are represented by numbers from 0 to 255, with any number outside this range being invalid. If the amounts of red, green, and blue are all 0, then the color will be black. If they're all at the maximum of 255, then the color will end up being white. Let's put the code in to create custom colors for each copy of the bar in the body of the loop. But first, let's erase the color command up here because we won't be needing it. Then we will create a color called myColor down here, which for now will just be a 3-item list containing all zeros. Then we will apply it to copied bar using the all caps color command. Before I start using the index value to create the custom colors, I'm just going to show you that we have colored the bars all black by having a custom color of 000. Let me run the program so that we can see. We have 10 black bars in front of us now. Now I'm going to use the index value to make the color of the bars lighten with each bar that's made. Let me type in the code and then explain it. I'm just going to put a plus 28 times I next to all of the zeros. What I'm doing here is multiplying the index value, I, by a constant multiplier of 28 and adding it to each of the red, green, and blue values of the custom color. So each time the loop repeats, the index value increments up by 1, and each of these red, green, and blue values for the color increments by 28. An important thing to think about when you're doing this is that if any of your RGB colors gets below a 0, or above a 256, then your program will not run. So by doing this, we have to be very careful to pick out the right multipliers as well as the right number of times to repeat the loop. We're using 28 in this case because the highest number that our index value will reach is 9. And 28 multiplied by 9 will end up being 252, which is a valid RGB value. Let's run our program and we can see the bars go from black to white. Whoa, that is very interesting. Each of our bars gets lighter and lighter colored until the last one is almost completely white. Let's do one more example. Let's make our bars go from a yellow to a pink. We will do this by having a constant red value of 255, a green value which starts at 255 and decreases with each repetition of the for loop, and then a blue value which starts at 0 and then increases with each repetition. So let's change our red value to 255. Then let's change our green value to 255 minus 28 times I. The multiplier is still 28 because we're using the same number of bars and we have to stay in bounds. Then let's keep our blue value at 0 plus 28 times I. And let's run our program. Awesome! We went from a bright yellow all the way to a pink color, and we get to see everything in between. So to conclude our lesson, remember once again how useful for loops can be. And remember the power of using their index values within the body of the loop. Remember that when you are using the index values to increment RGB values to create custom colors, you must be very careful to count your multipliers and the number of times you are repeating the loop so that your RGB values stay between 0 and 255.